The top 0.01% achieve success not by chance, but by following a set of time-tested principles that guide their every move. These principles are not complex, but they are powerful and often overlooked by those who remain stuck in mediocrity. What separates the high achievers from the rest is their ability to adopt the right mindset, make intentional decisions, and execute consistently. The 21 principles that shape the lives of the most successful individuals are built on simplicity and effectiveness. They are the foundation that supports exceptional achievement across all areas of life. Applying these principles can transform your personal and professional journey, shifting your mindset and actions toward extraordinary results. This isn't about shortcuts or quick fixes. This is about committing to real, sustainable growth that requires dedication and discipline. The principles that I'm about to outline will demand your focus, but the rewards are immeasurable. If you're determined to rise above the ordinary, to think on a larger scale, and to achieve lasting success, these principles are the key to unlocking your full potential. Number 1, be misunderstood. You know, one of the greatest signs that you're on the right path in life is when people don't understand you. They'll look at you and say, "What are you doing? Why are you wasting your time on this? Why don't you just do what everyone else is doing?" And that's when you know you're onto something big. See, the majority of people live their lives inside a small, comfortable box. They follow the same routines, think the same thoughts, and believe the same things they've been told their whole lives. The moment you decide to step out of that, the moment you start thinking for yourself, making bold decisions, chasing something greater, that's when the resistance comes. That's when people start shaking their heads at you, and that's exactly what should happen. I remember when I first started in business, I was young, broke, and searching for something better. My friends and family, well, they meant well, but they didn't see what I saw. They said, "Jim, just get a good job. Play it safe. Stop trying to do things differently." They thought they were helping me, but what they were really doing was trying to pull me back into their way of thinking. See, when you try to do something different, people don't always react with encouragement. They react with fear, because if you succeed, it proves that they could have done more, but they didn't. And that's an uncomfortable truth for a lot of people. So they'll doubt you, they'll criticize you, they'll tell you that you're wasting your time, not because they don't want you to succeed, but because your success forces them to confront their own excuses. But here's the thing, you have to keep going anyway. You have to learn to be comfortable being misunderstood. It's not a bad thing. It's not a problem. It's a sign that you're on the right track. Look at history. The greatest minds, the most successful people, the ones who changed the world, they were all misunderstood. When Thomas Edison was inventing the light bulb, people called him a fool. They laughed at him, told him it was impossible. But did that stop him? No, he just kept going. When Elon Musk started talking about sending people to Mars and making electric cars the future, people said he was crazy. They didn't believe him. Now, the world follows his lead. That's the pattern. The people who achieve the most in life are always the ones who are doubted, criticized, and misunderstood at first. But instead of getting discouraged, they use it as fuel. They keep going. They let their results do the talking. Now I get it. Being misunderstood isn't easy. It's uncomfortable. It can feel lonely at times. But you have to remind yourself why you started. You have to trust your own vision, even when nobody else does. The truth is, most people are looking for approval. They want permission. They want someone to tell them, yes, you're doing the right thing. But the ones who succeed don't wait for permission. They move forward even when no one understands them. They don't need validation. They just keep building, keep learning, keep improving. And then something interesting happens. After you succeed, after you prove yourself, suddenly, all those people who doubted you, they start changing their tune. They start saying, "I always knew you had it in you. I believed in you the whole time." Isn't that funny? The same people who once shook their heads at you will eventually act like they supported you from the start. But by that time, you won't even care, because you'll be too busy winning. Now I want you to think about something. Right now, in your life, what are you holding back on because you're afraid of what people will say? What dream are you putting off because you don't want to be misunderstood? If you're waiting for the world to understand you before you take action, you'll be waiting forever. You have to make a decision. Do you want to fit in, or do you want to stand out? Do you want to be comfortable, or do you want to be great? Because you can't have both. The top 0.01%, the people who create real success, real impact, real change, they don't seek approval. They don't need everyone to get it. They just do the work. So from now on, When people don't understand you, don't get frustrated. Don't get discouraged. Smile, because that means you're on the right path. That means you're doing something worth doing. That means you're growing into something greater than they can see right now. And one day when you've made it, when you've built something incredible, those same people who doubted you will look back and say, I should have listened. Number 2, ask better questions. Most people don't realize it, but the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. And I don't just mean asking other people. I mean the questions you ask yourself every single day. See, the average person wakes up and asks, why is life so hard? Why can't I catch a break? Why does this always happen to me? And guess what? Your mind will always find an answer. If you ask, why am I always unlucky? Your brain will search for reasons to prove you right. It'll say, well, because you never get the right opportunities. Because other people have more advantages than you, because life is unfair. And just like that, you've trapped yourself in a cycle of negativity. But the top 0.01%, the people who achieve the highest levels of success and fulfillment, they ask different questions. They wake up and ask, how can I make today productive? What can I do right now to move forward? What lesson can I learn from this setback? See the difference? It's a shift in mindset. Instead of looking for excuses, they look for solutions. I'll tell you something that changed my life. I started asking myself every day, what's the one thing I can do today that will have the biggest impact on my future? And you know what happened? My focus changed. I stopped wasting time on things that didn't matter. I stopped making decisions based on short-term emotions. I started thinking strategically, looking at the bigger picture, and that made all the difference. Most people never think to question their own beliefs. They just accept whatever they've been told since they were kids. They hear things like, money is hard to make, and they never ask, is that actually true? They believe success is for other people, not for me. And they never ask, why not me? See, the moment you start questioning what you've always believed, you open the door to growth. And this applies to every area of life. In business, in relationships, in health. Asking better questions leads to better results. Instead of saying, why am I struggling? Ask, what skills do I need to develop to overcome this challenge? Instead of saying, why don't people respect me? Ask, how can I add more value to others? Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? The problem is, most people are too afraid to ask tough questions. They don't want to look at themselves honestly. They don't want to admit that they might need to change. But the truth is, growth only happens when you challenge yourself. You have to be willing to ask, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to improve? Where am I holding myself back? That's not easy, but it's necessary. I remember talking to a young man once. He said, Jim, I want to be successful, but I just don't have the right connections. I don't have the resources. I don't have the time. And I said, all right, let's change the question. Instead of asking why you don't have those things, ask yourself, how can I create those opportunities? How can I make time? How can I build the right relationships? See, the right question shifts your focus. It moves you from a place of helplessness to a place of action. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Start paying attention to the questions you ask yourself every day. Stop asking, why is life so unfair? And start asking, how can I make the most of what I have? Stop asking, why am I stuck? And start asking, what's the next step I can take? Because the truth is, life is always responding to the questions you ask. You just have to make sure you're asking the right ones. Number 3, be resourceful. Most people think success is about having the perfect plan, the right connections, or the ideal circumstances. But the truth is, the most successful people in the world didn't start with everything laid out for them. They started with one thing, resourcefulness. See, the difference between the people who make it and the people who don't isn't talent, luck, or intelligence. It's the ability to figure things out, no matter what. A lot of people sit around waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for everything to fall into place before they take action. They say, I'll start when I have more money. I'll take that risk when I have more experience. I'll work on my dream when the timing is right. But here's the problem with that. The timing will never be perfect. The resources will never magically appear. If you wait for all the conditions to be right, you'll wait forever. The people in the top 0.01% question mark. They don't wait. They move forward with whatever they have. Even if it's not much. They don't say, I can't because I don't have enough. They say, how can I make this work with what I have? That's resourcefulness. It's not about having all the answers, it's about being relentless in finding solutions. I'll tell you a story. Years ago, I knew a man who wanted to start a business. He had no money, no experience, and no connections. But he had one thing: he was resourceful. Instead of making excuses, he started looking for creative ways to get what he needed. He offered to work for free to gain experience. He built relationships with people who could help him. He found ways to make money on the side to fund his business. Today, he's a multimillionaire, not because he had advantages, but because he refused to let a lack of resources stop him. And that's what you have to do. You have to stop focusing on what you don't have and start using what you do have. You don't have money? Fine. What skills can you use to create income? You don't have experience. No problem. Who can you learn from? You don't have the right connections. Great. Start building relationships. See, life doesn't reward the people who wait for things to happen. It rewards the people who make things happen. You can have all the talent in the world, but if you're not willing to find solutions, it won't mean a thing. And let me tell you something. You don't need a perfect plan to start. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the first step. The moment you start moving forward, doors will open. The reason most people fail isn't because they're not capable. It's because they talk themselves out of trying. They see obstacles and immediately assume it's impossible. But the truth is, there's always a way. Always. You just have to be willing to look for it. And here's the thing. Being resourceful isn't just about money or success. It's about how you approach everything in life. If you face a challenge in your personal life, are you going to sit there and complain? Or are you going to figure out a way to improve the situation? If you're struggling with something, are you going to give up? Or are you going to find a way through? That's the mindset that separates the winners from the losers. So if you want to be in that top 0.01%, start thinking differently. Stop saying I can't. Start asking how can I? Stop waiting for permission, for help, for the perfect circumstances. Take what you have and make something happen. Because the truth is, there is no such thing as a lack of resources, only a lack of resourcefulness. Number 4, find hidden opportunities. Opportunities are everywhere, but most people never see them. Not because they don't exist, but because they're not paying attention. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't luck. It's awareness. The top 0.01% don't wait for opportunities to show up. They train themselves to find what others overlook. They understand that the best opportunities are often hidden, disguised as problems, setbacks, or challenges. Most people think opportunities come in the form of a golden ticket, something obvious, something handed to them on a silver platter. They expect success to knock on their door and say, "Here's your chance." But that's not how it works. The real opportunities in life, they come wrapped in difficulty. They show up when things don't go as planned. They appear in places most people are too afraid to look, and that's why the majority never find them. If you want to be in the top 0.01%, you have to start thinking differently. You have to stop looking for the easy way and start looking for the hidden potential in every situation. A failed business? That's an opportunity to learn what doesn't work and build something stronger. A job loss? That's an opportunity to finally start your own thing. A rejection? That's an opportunity to improve, to prove yourself, to come back better. Every setback carries a hidden door, but most people are too busy complaining about the wall in front of them to notice it. The key is to ask yourself better questions. Instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "Where is the opportunity in this?" Instead of saying, "This isn't fair," ask, "What can I do with what I have?" Because the truth is, there is always something you can do. There is always a way forward. The people who succeed don't have fewer problems than you. They just see those problems differently. Think about the businesses that changed the world. Uber didn't create the idea of taxis. It found a hidden opportunity in a broken system. Airbnb didn't invent the concept of renting space. It saw an opportunity where hotels were missing out. Every major breakthrough, every major success story started with someone seeing something others ignored. And that's what you have to do. Train yourself to look beyond the surface. When you see a problem, don't just see the problem. See what's possible on the other side of it. When things go wrong, don't just react. Step back and ask, what's the hidden advantage here? Because the truth is, most people are too busy being frustrated, too busy looking at what's wrong, that they never even consider what could be right. This mindset doesn't just apply to business or money. It applies to everything. Your relationships, your career, your personal growth. The people who win in life are the ones who stop waiting for things to be easy and start seeing obstacles as stepping stones. They're the ones who ask, what can I do with what I've got? Instead of why don't I have more? So if you want to be part of that top 0.01%, start looking at the world differently. Train yourself to find what others miss. Learn to see the hidden doors where everyone else sees walls. Because once you do that, you'll realize something powerful. Opportunity isn't rare. It's everywhere. You just have to know where to look. Number 5, demonstrate value ahead of time. Most people have it all backward. They wait for opportunities to come to them. They wait for someone to recognize their value, to give them a shot, to open the door. But that's not how the top 0.01% operate. They don't wait for permission. They don't wait to be chosen. They demonstrate value ahead of time. They make themselves undeniable. Think about it. If you were hiring for the most important position in your company, would you take a chance on someone who just talks about how great they are? Or would you pick the person who has already proven they can do the job before you even ask? The answer is obvious. And that's exactly how the best of the best position themselves in life. You see, the average person wants rewards before they've proven themselves. They want trust before they've earned it. They want opportunities before they've shown they deserve them. But the real winners, they flip the script. They go out and provide so much undeniable value that people have no choice but to take notice. This applies to everything: business, relationships, personal growth. The person who gives first, who brings value to the table before expecting anything in return, is always the one who ends up ahead. If you want people to invest in you, invest in them first. If you want to be respected, show up and prove you're worth respecting. If you want to build a powerful network, be the one who brings solutions, who helps others, who over-delivers without being asked. And here's the key. When you provide value without expecting anything back, something incredible happens. You start creating opportunities where there were none before. People start remembering your name. They start seeing you as someone who makes things happen. You become an asset, someone they want to be around, someone they want to help in return. Most people miss this because they're too focused on what they're going to get. They walk into situations asking, what's in it for me? Instead of asking, how can I contribute? And that's why they never break through. That's why they stay stuck. The top 0.01% ? They do the opposite. They lead with value. They prove their worth before anyone asks them to. Look at the people who are at the top of their game. Look at how they got there. Did they demand success? No. They built it by showing up, by demonstrating skill, by giving more than they took. The best businesses don't just sell products. They provide solutions. The best leaders don't just bark orders. They inspire and empower. The best athletes don't just talk about their talent. They show up and dominate. This is how you separate yourself from the pack. You stop waiting. You stop asking. You start showing. You start proving. And you do it consistently, whether anyone is watching or not. Because when you become the kind of person who demonstrates value ahead of time, success doesn't become a matter of if. It becomes a matter of when. Number 6, give to receive. Most people go through life thinking they'll start giving once they have enough. They'll help others once they've made it. They'll be generous when they're successful. But that's not how the top 0.01% think. They understand a fundamental truth about life. If you want to receive, you have to give first. This isn't just some feel-good philosophy. It's a principle of success. You want respect. Give respect first. You want opportunity. Create opportunities for others. You want wealth. Start by providing value. The world doesn't reward takers. It rewards those who contribute, those who bring something to the table, those who add to the lives of others. And here's what separates the winners from the losers. Winners don't give with the expectation of getting something back right away. They don't keep score. They give because they know that when you put value into the world, it always finds its way back to you. Maybe not immediately. Maybe not in the way you expected, but it always returns. Think about the most successful people. Do you notice how much they invest in others? The top entrepreneurs, leaders, and high performers, they don't just hoard knowledge, they share it. They don't just keep their resources to themselves. They create opportunities for others. They don't just demand loyalty. They give it first. And that's exactly why they rise to the top. The average person, though, does the opposite. They hold back. They think, why should I help them? What's in it for me? They're afraid to give because they're operating from a mindset of scarcity. They think if they give, they'll have less. But the people who win in life understand that the more you give, the more you grow. The more you contribute, the more opportunities come your way. And here's the thing, you can start right now no matter where you are. You don't need millions in the bank to be generous. You don't need to be in a position of power to offer value. You can give your time, your knowledge, your energy, your support. You can be someone who lifts others up, who helps without expecting anything in return. And when you do, you'll notice something amazing. People start gravitating toward you. Doors start opening that you never expected. People start trusting you, recommending you, bringing you into their circles. Because when you're someone who gives, people remember that. And when the time comes for an opportunity, who do you think they'll call? The person who only looked out for themselves, or the person who showed up, who helped, who provided value without being asked. This is what the top 0.01% understand. They don't just take, they contribute. They don't just wait for opportunities. They create them by being valuable. And that's why they win. You want success? You want respect? You want opportunities? Then start giving. Because when you give, you're not just helping others, you're building the foundation for everything you want in life. Number 7, invest in your priorities. You can tell a lot about a person by looking at where they invest their time, energy, and money. Success isn't random. It's a result of prioritizing the right things over and over again until the results become undeniable. The top 0.01% don't waste time on things that don't serve them. They don't spend their energy on distractions. They don't throw their money at things that don't matter. Instead, they invest in their priorities. And what does that mean? It means they know exactly what's important to them. They don't just go with the flow, hoping success will find them. They take control, they set clear priorities, and they protect them at all costs. If health is a priority, they don't just talk about getting in shape, they make time for it, no matter how busy they are. If financial freedom is a priority, they don't blow money on things that impress other people. They invest in things that grow their wealth. If relationships matter, they don't make excuses about being too busy. They put in the effort to nurture them. The difference between winners and everyone else isn't just talent or intelligence. It's discipline. It's the ability to say no to things that don't align with their goals. It's the willingness to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term success. The problem is, most people don't even know what their real priorities are. They say they want success, but they spend hours scrolling through social media. They say they want to be financially free, but they spend every paycheck on things they don't need. They say they want to improve, but they never invest in learning and skills and personal growth. If you want to separate yourself from the crowd, start getting serious about where your time, energy, and money are going. If something isn't pushing you forward, it's holding you back. And if you keep giving your best hours, your best effort, and your best resources to things that don't matter, you'll look back years from now wondering why nothing changed. The top 0.01% make intentional choices. They don't just work hard, they work smart. They understand that every decision, no matter how small, is either an investment in their future or a withdrawal from it. And because they see life this way, they build momentum. They make small, smart investments every single day. And over time, those investments compound into massive results. It all starts with getting clear on what truly matters to you. Not what society says should matter. Not what your friends or family think you should focus on. What do you want? Where do you want to be in 5 years? In 10? Once you know that, start making decisions that align with that vision. Guard your time. Protect your energy. Spend your money on things that build you up, not things that pull you down. Success isn't an accident. It's the result of thousands of small, intentional choices. And the people at the top, they've simply mastered the art of choosing wisely. Number 8, be grateful for bigger problems. Nobody likes problems. Nobody wakes up excited to deal with challenges, setbacks, or obstacles. But here's something most people never understand. The size of your problems determines the size of your success. The top 0.01% don't run from problems. They don't complain about them. They actually welcome bigger problems because they know something that the average person doesn't. Bigger problems mean bigger opportunities. Think about it. If you're dealing with small problems, things like struggling to pay rent, arguing over petty things, or stressing about what other people think, you're playing a small game. But when you start solving bigger problems, when you start handling challenges that most people can't, you separate yourself. You move into a different league. The top earners, the most successful people in the world, they're not running from stress. They're not avoiding responsibility. They're looking for challenges that force them to grow, because they know the only way to level up in life is to level up in the problems they solve. A broke person looks at money problems and panics. A wealthy person looks at money problems and strategizes. A weak person faces adversity and complains. A strong person faces adversity and sees it as a test of character. The difference isn't in the problem itself, it's in how they respond to it. If you keep avoiding problems, you stay exactly where you are. But if you start seeing problems as opportunities, you open doors that most people will never even knock on. Every successful person you admire got to where they are because they tackled problems most people avoided. You think billionaires don't have stress? You think elite athletes don't deal with setbacks? You think powerful leaders don't wake up with pressure on their shoulders? Of course they do, but they've trained themselves to see problems differently. They don't break under pressure. They rise because of it. So the next time life throws a challenge at you, don't complain. Don't wish for an easier life. Instead, ask yourself, what is this teaching me? How is this making me stronger? How can I use this to grow? Because once you shift your mindset, once you start welcoming bigger problems instead of avoiding them, you'll realize that every major breakthrough in life comes right after a big challenge. Most people quit when things get hard. The top 0.01% push through, and that's exactly why they're at the top. Number 9, think like a millionaire before you become one. If you want to become a millionaire, you have to start thinking like one before you ever see a dime of that money. Most people get this completely backward. They say, once I have money, I'll start acting differently. But that's not how it works. You don't wait until you're successful to develop the habits, the mindset, and the discipline. You build those things first, and then success follows. Look at the people who never break out of the cycle of struggle. They think small, they play it safe, and they make decisions based on fear instead of vision. They tell themselves stories like, I'm just not the kind of person who can be rich, or people like me don't get those kinds of opportunities. And because they believe that, they never take the steps necessary to change their reality. But successful people, they think differently. They see money as a tool, not a finish line. They don't let their current circumstances dictate their future. They act as if they already belong in the room, already deserve the success, and already have the mindset required to handle wealth. This isn't about spending money recklessly or pretending to be rich when you're not. That's fake success. What I'm talking about is adopting the mindset of a person who knows they are capable of creating wealth. That means thinking long-term instead of chasing quick wins. That means valuing growth over comfort. That means investing in yourself, in your skills, in your ability to produce results. If you put $1 million into the hands of someone with a poor mindset, they'll lose it in no time. But if you take away all the money from a self-made millionaire, they'll find a way to make it all back. Why? Because success is never just about the money, it's about who you become. It's about the habits, the knowledge, and the way you see the world. Start thinking like a millionaire today. Carry yourself with confidence. Make decisions based on the person you want to be, not the person you are right now. Develop discipline, eliminate distractions, and surround yourself with people who elevate you instead of hold you back. When you start thinking like a millionaire before you become one, you're no longer just hoping for success, you're guaranteeing it. Number 10, think bigger and go global. You have to start thinking bigger, not just a little bigger, 10 times bigger. The people at the top, the ones who dominate their industries and create generational wealth, don't limit themselves to what's comfortable or familiar. They think beyond their hometown, beyond their country, beyond what's right in front of them. They go global. The average person sets goals that feel achievable, goals that fit inside the world they know. They aim for a higher salary, a little more savings, maybe a promotion. But the top 0.01% don't think that way. They don't ask, how can I make an extra $10,000 this year? They ask, how can I make $10 million? They don't just think about starting a business. They think about building an empire. They don't just want to be good at something. They want to be the best in the world. When you start thinking globally, everything changes. You stop seeing limitations, and you start seeing possibilities. You realize that your potential isn't capped by your surroundings. You don't have to rely on a single source of income, a single market, or a single opportunity. The internet has made it possible to reach people across the world, to build something that impacts millions, to create wealth on a level that previous generations couldn't even imagine. But you have to be willing to think that big. Thinking globally also means surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to grow. If you only talk to people who think small, you'll stay small. But if you connect with people who are playing the game at a higher level, your entire mindset shifts. You see how they operate, how they solve problems, how they take risks. You start to understand that success isn't reserved for a special few. It's available to anyone willing to think, act, and execute at the highest level.
Click here for part 2.